There are only two things in this world that consistently scare me. Number one, neurodegenerative diseases. Because let's be honest here, if I lost any more brain capacity, it would be over for me. I grew a beard just to remember where the food goes, so there's one less thing to think about. Number two, joint pain. I woke up in a night sweat because I dreamt that I tore my other ACL. You know what kind of mental state you have to be in to dream about joint pain and joint inflammation? Not a good one. So what we're gonna do today is work on bulletproofing our knees, which in turn will help us bulletproof our ankles and our hips, because all of them work together. So if you're ready, we're gonna start with some easy exercises first and try and build up some intensity as we go along. This will be a short one, don't worry about it, and it's gonna be a follow along, which it has been a long time since we did one together. If you're ready, let's get right into it. For our starting position, we're gonna just take a seat like so and extend one leg. If you cannot sit down fully on your foot, then you can start out just like so. If you can, however, we want to go through as long a range of motion as possible. So the first thing we're going to do is elevate our leg just for a centimeter or two. We already have some core engagement as well. And then from here, we're going to use our posterior chain to push forward. And we're going to push our knee as much forward as we can, going into ankle flexion, just like so, before we push back, extend the leg entirely, and then raise it again. So we're going to do this just a handful of times for both sides. This is the full range of motion. Elevate and reverse. And if you cannot sit back fully, this is more than enough to raise your leg and then move forward once more. So now we've done like 3 repetitions. We're gonna go for 2 more. Push forward, ankle flexion and reverse. And elevate, and final repetition for the right side. Push forward, ankle flexion, reverse, and elevate, just so we can strengthen our lower abdominals and hip flexors as well. So now we're gonna move to the other side carefully. And once again, we're gonna push forward, ankle flexion, flexing our entire posterior chain when pushing forward, and slowly, carefully sitting back down all the way, elevating, pushing forward. Rep number 2, slowly, carefully sitting back down, elevate. Rep number 4, elevate, and one final time, push forward and reverse. Rep number 5, and pull both legs in, because this is going to be our starting position for the next exercise as well. We're either sitting here, or if you do not have the mobility, then you're going to be just like so. Because the movement is going to be a little bit shorter this time, we're going to push forward, posterior chain, flexing our biceps, our glutes, and our spinal erectors, pushing forward, lengthening our quadriceps, as well as our hip flexors the tiniest bit, and sitting back down once more. So push forward, rep number 2, and reverse. And we want to be flexing as much as we can, our entire posterior chain, before we sit back, also as much as we can. We have complete ankle extension here, especially when we sit down, pushing our feet deeper into this extension, all the way forward, all the way backwards. 2 more repetitions, forward and reverse, and final rep, forward and reverse. Now, we won't be changing our starting position. However, we will switch between sitting like so in complete ankle extension. You can bring your hands down to the ground, get on your toes, switch into a deep squat or a resting squat. You can keep your hands on the ground if that is necessary for you to keep your balance. And if your heels raise, that just means that you need a little bit more ankle mobility. Don't worry about it. Over time, you'll be able to get both feet fully flat without falling backwards. So we're gonna keep our hands on the ground, go into ankle extension, sit down all the way, push your hips down, and reverse into a deep squat. Now, if you do not need your hands to help you out, then it is better to do this exercise using your own strength and your own control. Move forward, getting to a deep squat position, all the way, feet flat or as flat as you can, and reverse once more. So we have 4 more repetitions. Up on our tiptoes, into a deep squat position, and back into a seated position, pushing our hips down. And we have a full range of motion in our knees as well. Back into this deep squat, and back into the sitting position, strengthening our hip flexors, strengthening our core muscles as well, and working on coordinating our ankles with our knees and hip joints. Let's go for one final repetition. into this deep squat, and now we're going to pull our shoulders in as much as we can, open our arms sideways, pushing our legs backwards, opening up our hips even more, and we're going to go into complete spinal flexion, rounding our back for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and reverse. And if you want to, you can take a short break right here, sitting fully relaxed. And now it is time to change our starting position into a deep squat. Now, if you cannot bring your feet flat on the ground, here is a guide on how you can achieve the perfect resting squat. If you just want to follow along for now, if your heels raised, absolutely no problem. We're going to get over it. If you do not have the strength to keep your upper body upright, then look for a wall you can lean back onto and go through the exact same motions with a wall behind you, just in case. Because now we're going to start with internal hip rotations, bringing our knee all the way down to the ground. Left knee in front of the right foot, reverse, and switch it up. Right knee in front of the left foot, and left side, and right side. You can turn your hips slightly as well, but we're gonna go full range of motion, knee down to the ground. Right side, left side, and just 4 more times. Right side, left side, working our hip flexors and our abdominals and our quads and the control, and working through ankle flexion and reversal once more. So now that we've gone through internal rotations, we're going to go to external rotation, meaning we are rolling over our toes, bringing our left knee down to the ground, pushing forward, reverse, and then move to the other side, knee down, push forward, and reverse. We're not fully extending the other leg. We're gonna just have a little bit of stretch in our hip flexors. If that requires you to extend your leg fully, then by all means go ahead. However, if you already feel a stretch right here, that is more than enough for the work we're doing. Right side, push forward. Left side, push forward. And right side. And left side. We've got 2 more repetitions. Right side, left side, and since we started with the left one, let's end it with the right one. Push forward and back into our deep squat as a starting position. Now we're getting a little bit more into the advanced territory. We're going to combine internal with external hip rotation, getting into a 90-90 sitting position, roll over your toes, complete ankle extension, and then external rotation in your left leg. And then either using your own strength to get back into this deep squat position, or just to show you, you can use your hands, get up here, and then slowly help yourself into the other direction. So now this is totally depending on your mobility. If you are rolling up here and sitting down on the other side, or if you're helping yourself out and taking your time. Let's go through a handful of repetitions, sitting down, internal and external rotation, reversing the movement using our own strength, control, and coordination. Complete ankle extension, reverse ankle flexion, ankle extension, and reverse ankle flexion and extension. Now the really cool thing about this exercise is that we have a lot of rotational forces on our knees, which once again are not rotational joints. However, we are still turning them and putting enough force on them that over time they will get stronger in these exact same movements. And since those movements usually can lead to a lot of injuries, being able to go through them in a controlled fashion without hurting yourself is in turn going to help you reduce the risk of injury in your knees, hips, and ankles. So one more time to the left side, and a final time to the right side. There you go. Sit down all the way and back into this deep squat position. Once again, we're going to pull in our shoulders, open our arms, push our legs backwards, go into complete spinal flexion, and we're going to hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Release hands down on the floor for the next exercise, because all we're going to do is switch from a deep squat into complete extension. Now, if you can extend both legs fully, what I want you to do is get up on your toes and then slowly reverse If you cannot extend both legs fully, just keep your hands on the ground and go for as long a range of motion as possible for you. Second time, extend, reverse. Third time, extend, and reverse. We have 3 more repetitions. Extension, up on our tippy toes if we can, return into a deep squat, up on our tippy toes, back into a deep squat, and one final repetition together. Extend if you can, up on your toes, and we're gonna hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and back into a deep squat from the stretch in our posterior chain, back into pushing our legs back with our arms, flexing our spine, and holding for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and final exercise. From here, all we want to do is sway to the left side, sway to the right side. We have the tiniest range of motion in all 3 of those joints. However, this is going to require a little bit more strength and a little bit more control to keep us from falling over. And it feels really nice, especially for myself, because my meniscus and my ACL in the right knee are still pretty damaged, and going through those tiny ranges of motion feels pretty amazing for me, releasing some of that tension. I'm gonna go for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Take a seat. Enjoy that feeling of being a little bit more flexible, a little bit more loose, a little bit more limber. From my side, that's all we're gonna do today. If you like the video and subscribe, and please check out other videos on this channel because we literally have new ones every single day. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Captain Cairo. Peace out.